All right, I'm Mike Colson. I'm a member here at First Baptist Church Aztec, and I've been coming here I think we've been coming here for about 6 or 7 years. So I started off as a Christian early on. My folks always took us to church. I was baptized when I was 14 and saved at a church event. I knew it was right for me at that time. My parents and my sisters and I, we went through a church split, and that really hurt both my folks, and we just kind of fell away from church. I knew I was still saved. Never drank, never partied anything through high school, and stayed the course. I deployed to Iraq in January 2003, and still didn't have too much of a problem, but I started drinking there, and I did a tour and a half there, and once I came back, I had a bad problem drinking. Just had a hard time keeping my life together. Got married to my wife, started having kids, and God blessed me on that. I only knew my wife 3 months before we got married. I knew it was meant to be. We've been married almost 16 years now. When I got out of the Navy, we decided to do that. The only job I could find was being a police officer here in Aztec locally, and got started doing that. Loved the job, still having a terrible problem drinking. Couldn't deal with anything, was angry a lot. Became a sergeant early on and had to deal with even more stress that was wearing me out. And finally, in June of 2012, a kid I grew up with committed suicide, and I was the first one on scene there. And that ate me up for about 2 more years. And I finally quit. Just couldn't do it anymore. And got out of law enforcement, went to the oil and gas field for a short time. God put me right into a job. And everything went good for a short time at that job, but I still had a problem drinking. And started working out of town a lot, which didn't help my drinking. And God finally put me back into law enforcement through a guy that worked for me as a police officer before. And so I went to the Southern Ute Indian Tribe and was a ranger up there. And that was a great job. But I was still having the same problems with drinking. My family life was getting better, but it still suffered because of my drinking. Still believed in God, still loved God, attended church periodically, but nothing, no fruit out of my life. Nothing would show you that. My language was terrible. And then in November of 2020, had an officer-involved shooting and really fell apart for about 2 or 3 months. Drinking got really bad. I didn't have to go to work, so I just drank all day. Was not good for my wife and kids. My oldest son was graduating high school about that time. And God really got to me. And I knew I had to come back. And I got with Pastor Mike and Bryant Cox and Zane Leslie. And man, they just have slowly ever since been walking me back to where I need to be. And I know it's God in my life working, and I wouldn't be here without Him today. And I thank Him so much for putting those men in my life.